This is not gonna be good! No! Oh my God!
Bad Bunny wowed the entire wrestling world once again at Backlash 2023 when he put on the match of the night against Damian Priest in a San Juan street fight. It wasn't his first outing either, with his debut at WrestleMania 37 instantly giving him the label of the greatest celebrity wrestler in WWE history. Nobody even disputed the fact that he defeated full-time superstars, probably because he outperformed the rest of the roster both times. But he isn't the only celebrity to get a win over a wrestler. And we aren't going to count Logan Paul because he is technically signed to WWE. So excluding him, here are some celebrities who got victories over Hall of Famers and legends. Stephen Amell may not have had the same impact as Bad Bunny, but he won over fans with his love of wrestling. Known for his role on Arrow, his friendship with Cody Rhodes led him to getting in the ring at SummerSlam 2015. On that occasion, he teamed up with Neville to face Stardust and Wade Barrett, exceeding expectations and picking up the win against the two men who wouldn't even be in WWE a year later. There were no hiccups with Stephen Amell, but when it came to Mr.T, there was a bit more drama. You probably heard the story of how WWE put everything on the line for WrestleMania 1 at Madison Square Garden, with the narrative often being that had it not succeeded, the entire company would have shut down. The main event of the very first WrestleMania featured Hulk Hogan and Mr.T against Rowdy Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff, with Muhammad Ali as the special guest enforcer. Mr.T was known for his role in the A-Team, but he also starred in Rocky III, where Hulk Hogan had also had a brief appearance. According to Hogan himself, the Madison Square Garden security team refused to let Mr.T's entourage in, leaving him very upset. He was ready to walk out, but Hogan claimed that he had to smooth things over to make sure that the main event went on as planned. Had he not done so, the entire landscape of wrestling today may have been very different. But thankfully, things went on as planned, and Mr.T and Hulk Hogan got the win in the main event. Now, things certainly didn't go to plan for David Arquette when he became the WCW World Champ. That's right, David freaking Arquette was the world champion in the dying days of WCW. He starred in the Ready to Rumble film in 2000, which featured WCW's top stars like Sting, Diamond Dallas Page, and Goldberg. He would begin a storyline in WCW as a promotional tie-up, but when it was all said and done, there was a bizarre plan in place. David Arquette was told that he was going to become the WCW World Champion on a random episode of Thunder. Arquette protested the idea, saying that fans would hate a non-wrestler becoming world champ. DDP had to step in and tell him why it needed to happen. Arquette said, quote, "I don't recall him saying that you don't have to do it. I think DDP said, if you don't do it, then it's all over. Ready to Rumble is over. The promotion of it is over. You won't be coming with us, but if you do it, you save it till the pay-per-view." I think this is a combination of him explaining it and Vince Russo, end quote. Vince Russo explained his side of the story, saying, quote, "First of all, bro, he won it in a tag match beating Eric Bischoff, so that's feasible. He never beat a wrestler, so he kinda got caught up in the moment, and if you watch it back, he gets caught up in the moment, he gets Bischoff," end quote. To make it all worse, the actual match was a tag team bout featuring then world champ DDP and David Arquette against Eric Bischoff and Jeff Jarrett. The stipulation was whoever got the pinfall would be the world champion, and Arquette took the title from his own tag team partner DDP that night. None of it made any sense whatsoever, but it perfectly sums up the state of WCW in its final days. Now, the word sense cannot be attached to the decision to have a retired NFL star headline WrestleMania, but that was likely what WWE felt they needed to do in their worst TV rating year of 1995. It began at that year's Royal Rumble when Bam Bam Bigelow got into a heated ringside confrontation with New York Giants legend LT Lawrence Taylor. Bam Bam shoved him during a match while he was only a fan sitting at ringside. Despite Diesel versus Shawn Michaels for the WWE Championship being on the card, they decided to make their world champion the one to train Lawrence Taylor. It all culminated at WrestleMania 11 with the retired football star getting a win over Bigelow. It should be said that Lawrence Taylor put on a solid performance for a non-wrestler, but it's still considered one of the most forgettable main events in WrestleMania history. Legendary talk show host Jay Leno's match at WCW Road Wild seems to have been forgotten in time, but it was the perfect example of how using a celebrity could garner a lot of buzz. The idea of a talk show host headlining a pay-per-view may not sound appealing, but in 1998, Jay Leno was in his prime and was the most popular talk show host in the USA. He found himself teaming up alongside DDP to face Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff. Jay Leno not only picked up the win, but he got the pinfall against Bischoff, who was hit with a diamond cutter by Kevin Eubanks, the leader of the Tonight Show band. The mediocrity of it all definitely left a sour taste in the mouths of the fans, but it somehow made its way to being the 9th most purchased pay-per-view in WCW history with 365,000 buys. Now, Snooki may not have commanded the same amount of buy rate, but to be fair to her, she wasn't headlining a pay-per-view either. She went on second to last at WrestleMania 27 in what was an obvious cool-down match before the main event. Her appearance only lasted for 3 minutes as the Jersey Shore star teamed up with Trish Stratus and John Morrison to face Michelle McCool, Layla, and Dolph Ziggler. She picked up the win for a team when she hit the weakest cartwheel splash you will ever see on Michelle McCool. Now, there wasn't anything controversial about that, but fans weren't too happy when Kevin Federline picked up a win against the biggest star of the industry, John Cena. Some of you might be wondering, who the hell is Kevin Federline? He isn't very relevant today, but in 2006, he was married to the most famous singer in the world, Britney Spears. In late 2006, Federline aligned himself with Johnny Nitro and became a thorn in John Cena's side, picking fights with him for 2 consecutive weeks. It was made worse when he attacked Cena on Cyber Sunday, preventing him from becoming World Heavyweight Champion and allowing Booker T to retain. It all culminated on the New Year's Eve edition of Raw, where they faced off in a no disqualification match, allowing Johnny Nitro and Umaga to interfere and help Federline defeat the reigning WWE champ. He sat down in the most smug way imaginable when pinning Cena, and the heated fans kept chanting, "We want Britney," in reference to the fact that she had filed for divorce by that point. Cena did get the last laugh later in the night when he won a 4-on-1 handicap match, which best sums up how his time as Super Cena was handled. It was unforgettable for all the wrong reasons, but Bruce Pritchard revealed that despite being hated on screen, Federline was a joy to work with. Pritchard revealed that he expected to hate Kevin Federline because of the negative media attention he got, but was surprised at how professional he was. He said, quote, "Kevin Federline was probably one of the celebrities that I had the most fun with because he was so cool, so happy to be there, such a big fan. And there was a little, not a little bit, there was probably a lot of fear in him because he knew he was out of his league and he was out of his element, but he was such a big fan, he was so happy to be there." End quote. If you know any celebrities who you think should have been on this list, please let us know in that comment section below.